Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, listen, we are going down one of those rabbit holes today. We're going to be talking about this UFO alien disclosure. Now, before I get into this, just bear with this. If this is something, if this is subject matter that you may or may not be interested in, please just go with this, because I try and approach this as objectively as I can. Now, there's no denying there has been a massive uptick in there's been a shift, there's been a paradigm shift from talking about aliens, UFOs, to something that you would be considered a conspiracy theorist. Put your tinfoil hat on and go and sit over there. It's all over the mainstream now. There are people having real conversations about the existence of extraterrestrial life. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's a mathematical certainty. Sorry, not a possibility. It's a mathematical certainty that alien life does exist. However, whether they've come here or not in little saucer-shaped craft, I struggle with that. I just struggle with that. So a couple of things. If they have come here in little tin craft, they're clearly operating outside known physics, which leads the initial question to, okay, how did they get here? What are they using? And can we use that for good? The second question is, are they operating outside of our reality, potentially operating in another dimension? Or some of you guys are saying, are they demons from, satanic demons or something? Now, when I approach these subjects, I always try and debunk as much stuff as I can. And trust me, guys, if you're new to this type of topic when I'm talking about it, I do debunk so much of this stuff. What you cannot... And if you've been following me for a while, what I always do is I go back to like a question. Can I answer a question definitively? And the question definitively is this. Over the last 12 months, maybe 6, certainly since like Barack Obama a couple of weeks ago came out on national TV and quite openly said aliens are real. Then Donald Trump said he's going to release all the documentation of the UFOs, UAPs, alien life, whatever. There's a huge push for this. Now, the two directions are very simple, all right? Either, and let me narrow that down even further. I think what's going to happen is, and this is what I'm seeing, I think, and I've done quite a few videos on this, what I think is going to happen is we are going to get to a point, there's going to be this disclosure, but it's going to happen slowly. Then we're going to be told that there is an alien craft making its way towards Earth, and it's going to be here round about 2029. All right. Now, there was a video out January 25, Jeremy Corbell, and he said that we're going to be told that an alien craft is heading towards Earth and it's coming in 2027. I think those dates are wrong. I think we're going to be told it's on its way. And I think it's going to be here in 2029, 13th of April, 2029. That's when the asteroid Apophis gets here. And the timings just add up too perfectly. Now, if you understand some of the things we've been talking about, when I talk about war tactics, guns, bombs, tanks, planes, trains, automobiles, strategy, geopolitical posturing, things happen slowly. Things happen, tiptoe. You get this tiptoe, you get this tactical tiptoe. And if you look at global conflict right now, I don't think, and I've said this so many times, we are never going to get to a scenario where a country declares all-out war on another country. It's going to start with limited military strikes, special military operations, and then mission creep. It makes no sense to declare war. Now, the reason you do that, look at the conflict that's going on right now in Iran. This started off as the United States wants to take down the Iranian missile producing capacity, their nuclear capacity, and their naval capacity. Now, and look, guys, I'm not being negative. I'm just saying that that's what's happened. And now Donald Trump's saying that he needs to be involved in choosing the next leader of Iran, and nothing more than a total surrender will do. So, I'm just pointing it out, and you can see the mission creep now. So if that would have been the initial goal, if Donald Trump would have said, we're starting these strikes on Iran and we want nothing more than full surrender of the Iranians, there would have been a different political outcry from that. So when I get into this, guys, it's from that context. It's from that context. Now, if it came out tomorrow, for example, and there was the pressure from whistleblowers and people in Congress and people all over the world, they all released this information, it would change everything. Like, everything would change. Not overnight, because like I said, this information, it would drip out and people would get used to it. I don't think society would collapse straight away, because it would be a staged release of this information. But the ground is shifting under our feet, guys. Religions would have to recalibrate. Science would have to rewrite textbooks. Philosophers would have to start thinking of new philosophies. And governments would face a lot of questions. What have you known? Why didn't you, why haven't you released this information before? Or why are you releasing this information now? So they're the questions that I think really need to be answered. And another question that needs to be answered is, I think this needs to be answered before there is a UFO disclosure. What evidence will the scientific community accept as definitive proof of aliens? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I want the United States to wheel out bodies and say, there you go, that's Zarg from wherever. He died in a UFO crash. There's the spaceship. That's all the stuff. World media, world press, do your own science, do your own research. There it is. I'd accept that. If we're going to get something like, these little signals or blurry videos and ambiguous data, it's going to be quite quite a big push. But I do see the direction of travel now absolutely opening up for that, for that UFO disclosure. Hang on, let me just put the chat on. So, for decades, we've been. In fact, let me share this article actually. So there was an article, and what I do in these little, these little shorter live streams in the midday, I'm just documenting some of the articles that are coming out that are pushing this along. So this came out today. Let me share screen. I need to get this on before the ads come on. So this came out today. Aliens may have been trying to contact us for decades, scientist claims, as they warn we've been looking for the wrong thing. So that's what I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to try and simplify that article for you guys. So for decades, like it said there, humans have been looking for aliens. However, we've been doing the same thing. We've been pointing the giant radio telescope at the stars and scanning the sky for one thing above all: a super narrow, razor-sharp spike in a radio signal. A signal so clean and focused at a single frequency that no natural process in the universe could possibly make it. And we've heard absolute silence. There's been no noise from aliens, no little green men trying to contact us. The silence, billions of stars scanned, millions of channels checked, and nothing conclusive. Until now, a new paper from SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Life Institute or something, published just 2 days ago, says we may have been missing the very signals that we were looking for, not because they're not being sent, but because the universe itself is scrambling these signals before they even leave their own star system. Now, the simple truth, the researchers uncovered, even if an extraterrestrial civilization beams as a perfectly narrow signal, clean, efficient, deliberate, the solar system, basically, the stars, the plasma winds, it will diffuse that signal. Stars don't sit still. They bleach into each other. They blend into each other. So what they're saying, in short, is all these signals that we've been receiving from space could be alien signals. Because as those radio waves, pass through the cosmos, they get diffused, they get bent by space-time, and those signals don't look like a radio signal when they hit Earth. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to look back through the data and see if there's any way that they can decode this. Now, I think this will be done. I think this will be done because with AI now, you can literally, honestly, some of the things AI can do with document data analysis, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. Some of the stuff AI can you can upload PDFs and just you can data drop shitloads of data into AI, and it will just sort it out for you. It will do stuff that will take, like, if you upload just raw data to AI, it can look through it in a matter of minutes. If you were to look through that, it would take you days, literally days and days and days to get through. So what does this actually mean? It means the great silence might not be proof that nobody's out there talking. It might just mean we've been listening for the wrong type of message. It doesn't prove aliens are calling us right now, but it does give us some, a concrete scientific reason why we could have overlooked real techno signatures that have been arriving at Earth for decades. The good news, we can absolutely fix this. The data is already there. Future searchers can look for broader smeared patterns. AI algorithms can adapt to recognize signals that have been through, stellar weather. We can tune our ears to catch the fuzzier versions of what might be deliberate transmissions. So I do think this is another one of those, directions where it's just another little tiptoe, and it's another little footstep towards that information and that data that, yes, there are little green men out there potentially sending us signals. Now, I've got a video to share with you guys. Give me a second. So this is a video from Eric Weinstein. Now, I think, as far as I'm concerned, Eric Weinstein is like one of the smartest men ever. So I'm going to share this video with you guys. But he's on Piers Morgan. Now, a couple of things that I want you to understand is, look how this topic is now being treated. This is no longer a fringe topic. This is no longer a fringe topic where, you get guys talking about aliens and they've been abducted and they got probed. This is like a real mainstream topic now, and people are giving this like serious consideration. And look at the seriousness of this.
Misdeeds. This is not true. I mean, his operation, he somehow knew that my work, which technically would have been about something called self-dual Yang-Mills equations, was actually about gravity. He was very focused on gravity, and which this is going to come up in the UFO disclosures, which is that the UFO weirdness is not just about UFOs. It's about the golden age of general relativity and US attempts to gain control over additional forces of nature. There are 4 forces of nature. We know how to control 2 of them somewhat, the strong force and the electromagnetic force. The strong force is what we got control of in 1945 and took out 2 cities in Japan. So what happens when you can control gravity? This is absolutely...
Okay, so let me just interject that. Gravity is one of those weird things, right? It's so weird. We're told, we never really think about it, right? We're told that gravity is the entire weight, the entire mass of the planet pulling you down, right? Yet I can stand up. A little kitten can defeat, an ant, a spider can defeat the power of gravity pulling it down. And it's one of those things that becomes when you look more into gravity and how weak it actually is, it becomes very, you start to have a lot of question marks over gravity, and it's, and I guess it's, it's historical, what you get taught at school. Think about the weight of the planet Earth, right? The mass of planet Earth, and you can defeat gravity every time you stand up. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of question marks over gravity. Now, some people say that gravity leaches into another, into another dimension that we just can't see. Kind of like the upside down, right? Kind of like the upside down, like maybe a non-physical dimension. And Jeffrey Epstein, this is what he's talking about. Jeffrey Epstein was absolutely pushing alternate science. He was pushing alternate scientific research, so he was doing a lot of crazy stuff. And one of the things he was absolutely doing was researching into different, different fields of science. And if you think back to, Isaac Newton, you guys know Isaac Newton, right? The OG physicist. He went a little bit crazy. He went a little bit crazy and went into the occult, and he went down a dark path. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he went down the right path. So what Isaac Newton was saying, you've all heard the story, right? You've heard the story. Isaac Newton, he was sat under a tree somewhere in Stratford-on-Avon. He was sat under a tree, and was it Stratford? It was Stratford-on-Avon. I think it was. Anyway, wherever he was, there's plenty of apple trees in the United Kingdom. Take your pick. He was sat under an apple tree, and an apple fell down and it hit him on the head. And he thought, oh, I wonder why apples fall down. I don't know whether that story actually happened. What I think could have happened, and what I think is a better story, is Isaac Newton was sat under a tree and he was having a sandwich. He was having like a cheese sandwich or something. And it was a summer's day. And it was one late summer's day. And it was one of those late summer's days where you can see the moon, right? You can see the moon. And he's looking at the moon. And he's just looking at it. He's thinking, what is that? What is that moon? And then an apple fell on another tree. And I think he must have somehow put together celestial mechanics and thought, right, okay, it's the same force that is pulling that apple to Earth is the same force that is keeping the moon rotating around Earth. Now, if you think about that gravity can keep the moon in its place, but it can't stop you from standing up, you start to understand some fundamental flaws with the theory of gravity, because like people don't really know what gravity is.
Absolutely national interest. The national security apparatus has completely fallen down on the job. Nobody's picked up on what kind of a spy he was. And the idea that this is some sort of auxiliary thing that he was doing with respect to science, when the main story is just about the sexual misdeeds, this is not true. I mean, his operation, I think in part, was about spying on scientists.
So what he's saying there is Jeffrey Epstein, his primary role was spying on scientists, and everybody's focusing on the sexual misdeeds that were quite clear. Now, there's some of the stuff that came out in the Epstein files was absolutely insane. I mean, they were talking about aliens that, like, Hillary Clinton was talking about she wanted to know how the resurrection chamber, Gilgamesh's resurrection chamber, if it's been discovered yet, and all this stuff in those Epstein files. And we've just after the 28th of February, everybody just stopped talking about it. But this stuff's really happening. People are still talking about it behind the scenes, although nobody's listening because there's a hot war going on. Britain looks like it's going to fall into civil war any day, and the United States are just about to up their ante in the bombing campaign in Iran, which brings me on to Iran. There's some people in these, in these fringe sites, and they're saying that there was technology delivered before the invasion of Iraq in 2003. There was a lot of technology that was delivered to the Iranians and hidden. So my question is, like, what are they really going into Iran for? I would speculate it's about money, it's about oil, it's about stopping people blowing themselves up and chanting death to America. However, there is always another aspect, and there's always another angle. Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys, and then I'll right. Let me see how we are on the chat. Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory that claims NASA is attempting to implement a new age religion with the Antichrist as its head and start a new world order via technologically simulated something. A technologically simulated second coming. So yeah, I know this. I know this. The what is it? Project Bluebeam conspiracy. And look, I don't know what's true anymore. Now, the two things, it's either real or it's not, right? I am pretty convinced that all the data is in front of us right now to say that there is going to be a UFO disclosure. All that data is out there in front of us. You can choose to believe whether it's going to be real or not, and that's fine. I don't know either way, but there is the information that is readily available to everyone, because people need to be primed for anything, right? People need to be primed for anything. Look at the war in Iran. Look at the war in Iran. The war in Iran didn't just start on the 28th of February. Excuse me. The war in Iran, the build up to that started long before that. It started long before that. I would say the real build up to the war in Iran started on, when would I say? Like maybe it started on the 1st of December 2020. Sorry, the 1st of November 2023, when they passed it into law that the Iranians couldn't get a nuclear weapon. And then slowly, more information's come out that's pointed to the Iranians needing, stuff happening. So when it happens, people are not shocked all of a sudden. And that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing masses and masses of information that, to me, point towards a real UFO disclosure. Now, once that's happened, what are the next steps? Well, I'm looking at information that's available to me, and it's available to you guys as well. And the reason I'm looking at that information is because whether this is real or whether this is fake, I don't know. I don't know. But the information that's being presented, that's real. In the context that we're really being presented it. Now, the information we presented may be fake or it may be real, but we're definitely being presented it, if that makes sense. And that, to me, is saying that there is going to be some sort of UFO alien disclosure, which is then going to lead to some sort of announcement that there is aliens heading towards Earth. And I think the main contender, the big contender for a date when those aliens are coming towards Earth is 2029, Friday the 13th of April, 2029. Scorpion Warrior says, I love waking up to this channel. Morning, Scorpion Warrior. It's a little bit late in the day for us. Paul J is saying augmented reality has been here for decades. You can smell it and feel it. What do you mean augmented reality? Is augmented reality not when you put like those glasses on and you're getting like... Explain what you mean by augmented reality. Milo is saying there are aliens in Iran. Right, okay. Do we mean like illegal aliens, getting on boats coming to the United Kingdom, or do we mean like little green men with like, little silver probes? Silly is saying, but according to Gilgamesh tales, he understood in the end that everyone is mortal. So there, I watched the video the other day, and they were saying what was he saying? He's saying that they're starting human trials on actual life extension, like real life extension. I think they were starting human trials like maybe this month or something. And they've already increased they've like increased the lifespan of like mice or something, maybe rats, I don't know, by like 75% in the initial trials. And listen, if you live at the Raven's house, I tell everybody, I say, listen, I'm not gonna die. I say, that ain't for me. It is absolutely not for me. Going to the candy shop is not for me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to go to that candy shop. I do think if you can, and I honestly believe this, if you can make it the next 20, 30 years, I do think there's a high possibility that you're going to live forever. Rod Panhard is saying only 2% of the Epstein files have been released. Loads of World War III reset currency stuff has been completely ignored. The fact that they would rather expose PDFs tells you how bad this is. No, I absolutely agree. Like, I absolutely agree. The stuff that was released in the Epstein files, yes, you've got the sexual debauchery, and that is, it's disgusting. The other aspect of it is the scientific aspect of it. I was not expecting to see that. I was not expecting to see. And listen, let's be clear. I don't know what's real. I have no idea what's real anymore. I'm struggling with reality at the moment. It's very easy. Like, I did it. I was on a live stream and was talking about the Epstein files. And I literally, while we was on the live stream, I went on to like, I don't know, what was it? Like an AI. And I said, can you make me a photorealistic email from somebody called Jeffrey Epstein to Raven saying, Raven, thank you for coming to the island. We all had a great time. Hope to see you again soon. Literally within like 5 seconds, boom, a photorealistic email came up as an image. And so, like, we need to understand, like, what is real, because I've still not seen the smoking gun. Right, listen, guys, I am just going to jump to the bottom, guys, because I want this to be a relatively short live stream, because I'm going to be back on, later on today. Emma Jane Taylor is saying loads of AI experiments have been going on for a while. Neuralinks and similar teenagers have been, no way. Wow, I didn't know that. So they're putting like AI in kids' heads? Kayla Crete? Am I saying that now? Is that right? Kayla Crete? Or is it Kayla Crete? I don't know if it's Kayla Crete or Kayla Crete. I don't know. I'm just K saying the Illuminati knew AI would come out when the files came out, so they can deny everything. Mark Cunningham is saying, other than yours truly, nobody in Canada speaks the truth about nothing. Mark Cunningham, tell me what the truth is, Mark Cunningham. Stemagoo is saying, I hope they come and take Islam away, a cold planet, and left there. I am going to be talking later on tonight, guys, or when I come back on the live stream at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be talking about some of the things that have been happening today in London. Now, if you've been watching what's happening today in London, it is absolutely insane. Violent clashes have broken out. Yes, between like the violent clashes that have broke out are between like, it's so crazy. Like the ones I've seen, the violent clashes that I've seen break out are between white pro-IRGC supporters and Middle Eastern Iranians who are in support of the United States. And I'm like, what is actually going on here? Like, what part of reality are we in? And Clarendon is saying the race for AI changes everything. It's not just to spy on us. Artificial intelligence is it's changing everything. It there was this song. Let me get hang on. There was this song by I'm not going to play it. Give me a second. Right, so there's a song called Mind of the Machine by Entrance that was released in 1988. Yes, it was, no, 1998, sorry. I'm just trying to find the lyrics now. Right, it says listen to it on Spotify. I'll have to yeah, it's not, I can't find the lyrics. Is this it? Nope. I literally can't find the lyrics to it. Song lyrics. Maybe this is it. No, I can't find it. Maybe that's weird. Maybe AI's taken the lyrics off because he doesn't want people to listen to it. But basically, the beginning of the song, if you've heard the song, throw a holler one time, fam. If you guys have heard the song, you guys know what I'm talking about. At the beginning of the song, like this like weird psychedelic like head just talking. He's like an old bald guy. And he says something like, a new age is upon us. When man must relinquish the man must relinquish his claim as ruler of the earth. Like for thousands, anyway, basically, he talks about the how AI and men creating machines that then can create machines that are more intelligent than the machines that they produced initially, and then that escalates exponentially. And he says that, like, at the end, he says, like, I can't remember. Do you know, I wish I could find the thing. I can't find it. Anyway, basically, he says in the beginning of the song, it's like, we can only hope there's like compassion, understanding, and even pity, you know, when artificial intelligence looks at us, because I do think we're going down that road. And there was an, what was it? There was another thing I saw with, it was like an AI thing. And it was like an old Elon Musk. There was like an old Elon Musk and an old Sam Altman, and they're saying, yeah, we've got like AI Jim. And what they do now is, because the energy for AI is so high, they get people riding on bikes to power the AI. Yes, it does sound like the Red Dwarf hologram. It does. It does. Right, listen. James Brooke is saying aliens want to contact people. Well, so do demons. They want to take you over and destroy you. Look at a grey alien, then look at a demon. They're one and the same. Tell me what a demon looks like. What does a demon look like? Right, listen, guys, I am going to start to close this down. This was just a relatively short live stream. I wanted to jump on and just let everybody understand that this alien UFO disclosure thing, it's not going away. It's still happening in the background. It's just the mainstream media, the news, everybody, they've all been focused on, and quite rightly so, the conflicts in the Middle East. Now, from an article that I'll share with you guys here. Now, from an article that was, I think it was released yesterday. Aliens may have been trying to contact us for decades. Scientists claim, as they warn, we've been looking for the wrong thing. So in that article, what it says is, and this is just another one of those breadcrumbs that I think is going to lead to the years, it may be that they found the information, they just didn't know what they were looking for, in the context that these radio telescopes have been looking for a direct radio signal that's quite focused. Now, what they're saying is when you are transmitting radio frequencies through space and stars and there's plasmas, all those radio frequencies get diffused. So what they're saying is maybe we should go back through the information and look through it and think, right, okay, is there anything that could be a tangible signal if we know where it came from? Now, with the emergence of artificial intelligence, this can be done relatively quickly. If any of you guys have had to, I don't know, raw data from, I don't know, a telemetry device that's giving you a height, a speed, height, altitude, a speed, a bearing, and it comes to you in a CSV file, what's a CSV? CSV, comma separated values. Is that it? A CSV, comma separated values? I think that's what a CSV file is. You know, it's just an absolute faff to work through that raw data. However, AI can do what would take me and you weeks to do. AI can do it within minutes. So I do think that is the next thing that's coming. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I said right at the beginning of this live stream, okay? Like I said right at the beginning of this live stream, I don't know, and I do debunk a lot of this information that comes out there. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? Am I back? Am I back, guys? Or I don't know if I'm frozen. Maybe I'm frozen. I might be frozen. Am I frozen? Mark is saying AI can never build anything. AI is only faster, that's all. No, I agree. AI is a lot faster. However, humans can build stuff. So now you're seeing this situation where humans are starting to work for artificial intelligence. And that's where I think we're going. Anyway, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I'm going to be back on at 8 o'clock. Let's not forget that this UFO disclosure, aliens, it is happening. It is happening behind the scenes. There's more information gets released every day. There's more of these articles get released on mainstream media. They just don't get any attention because of the war in Iran. The normalization now of talking about UFOs, UAPs is absolutely phenomenal. And I do think it's going to happen this year. If it does happen this year, and I'm right, if there is alien disclosure this year, then you can pretty much put your bets on that we're going to be told that aliens are coming 2029, and that's my date, guys. I keep talking to you about. I keep saying the same date. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be closing this down. I forgot how to talk. I'll be closing this down now, and I will be back on at 8. Don't forget to hit those buttons, guys. If you've not done so already, I'll catch you later. 8 o'clock. Don't be late.